Hey guys, welcome back to White Lions F1. It's finally the race weekend and it's currently Saturday, so I'm going to quickly discuss today qualifying and a little bit of practice, and tomorrow we're going to be talking about the race. So as I just said, we're going to be talking about qualifying today. I'm going to break it down, tell you what's just happened. Some things were pretty predictable, some things were far less predictable. Other things were far less predictable, but nonetheless just kick right into it. So of course Hamilton was on pole. Bottas came second. He actually came third. Vettel came second, splitting the two Mercedes. That was very, very interesting. Hamilton got a 122.188. Seb came second, just under 3 tenths behind him, and then Bottas was like a few tenths, or like a tenth behind Vettel. So it was extremely close there. And my idea about Hamilton double bluffing this whole time, ever since winter testing, saying that Ferrari are the favourites. Even though I did believe that, I was saying all the time that Hamilton seems to be kind of trying to push attention towards Ferrari and away from Mercedes. Obviously that was correct, because Hamilton, as Toto Wolff said, Hamilton was in a league of his own. He was so quick, he was so confident, he loves the car, he absolutely adores the car, he thinks it's great. Bottas still isn't really fully to terms with that Mercedes. He's doing okay, but he still needs some time with that car. He needs to learn to love it a little bit more. Obviously it was a huge step up from Williams, even though that was an extremely quick car. It's not Mercedes. Seb, however, the fact that he split the Mercedes, that is incredible, and it's important to note that he said on the team radio that he had mistakes in turn 1 and turn 9. So you know what? Maybe Seb could have put that on pole. Arriva Bene was actually disappointed, even though Ferrari were really happy that they split the Mercedes. Arriva Bene was actually kind of angry, and Seb wasn't fully content with that lap. So you know what? Maybe Ferrari should have got pole that race, or that qualifying. So there's a lot you can read into that. I'll be honest, I was surprised that Kim came 4th. If anything, I was expecting it to be Kimi that would have split the two Mercedes, but nonetheless he came 4th, which is still not too bad. But it shows overall how tight the front pack is. The fact that, you know, it's going to be Mercedes, Ferrari over this season clearly. Red Bull clearly are third best, as it showed from winter testing, but nonetheless, you know, it's clear what we're going to see up front. Now the big thing about Red Bull is that Ricciardo crashed out, and actually I'm going to quickly show it to you now, the crash. It was pretty interesting. So as you can see, he turns in and then he just completely loses the back end of the car. And one thing we're learning from these cars, as we see him absolutely ditching the back, is that these cars really absolutely take no prisoners. They're not nearly as friendly as the cars of the previous years. They're far harder to drive, and you can see actually when he took that corner, he actually went wide round that corner, which did compromise his line a little bit. But as we see from this angle, literally he just loses it, and there's absolutely no chance. And actually that's really similar of Palmer's crash in practice in FP2, I think it was, but I'll show you that and talk about that in a little bit. Obviously it's clear I took that video from Sky Sports. You can see it in the header. So before anyone says copyright and I'm stealing it from them, yeah, I took it from them, but yeah, I don't own that obviously. It's a real shame for Ricciardo. You know, he wasn't doing too bad over the weekend, and when he lost the back end, and because he went rear end first into the wall, he actually damaged the gearbox, and that means that he's going to need a new gearbox for the race. So not only is that one less gearbox he's got over the season, it also means that since he crashed out in Q3 rather, he's going to have to start 10th, and he could have been starting 4th or 5th, you know. So that's a real shame for him, and you could just hear it on the radio how dejected he was. It's a real shame. Now for Haas, Grosjean actually came 6th, and that is incredible for Haas. That is a really, really positive thing to see. Obviously there were fears after testing that the issues about braking were coming back to them, and that was something that Grosjean in particular was really, really concerned about. But Haas were really happy with that performance. It was a solid 6th place. You know, Haas have had a great start to this season, as it seems. But it's worth mentioning that last year they also had a really, really great start to the season. They came like 6th and 5th in the first 2 races, and you know, it looked all great, and then slowly more problems started to unwind. So it's a great qualifying. You know, Grosjean was extremely happy. Haas rather were really happy with it. But I'm not gonna say that this is how they're gonna be over the course of the season, because they had a really good start last season and slowly got worse and worse as it progressed. But nonetheless, it's a great 6th place for him. Unfortunately, K-Mag, the other Haas, came in 17th. Less good. Felipe Massa came in 7th for the Williams. That's really positive for him. He had a decent race weekend. He had a really good qualifying. Lance Stroll didn't. I'm going to talk about Lance Stroll more than Felipe Massa, because Felipe Massa for that Williams, kind of predictable, pretty solid performance. Lance Stroll's, that was a very, very questionable first qualifying for him. He just couldn't really seem to get that lap together. He was constantly making mistakes and just couldn't really get out of the car. And because he has to also have a gearbox change, that means he's also going to take a penalty for that, and he's going to go last. So not only did he qualify second to last, he's also going to have to go back a place and go last. So it's a real shame for him. However, if you look at it in another way, maybe it's the best thing for him, because it's his first ever race. Australia is known for having a lot of crashes. In fact, 12 of the past 17 races at Melbourne have all ended up having a safety car, and chances are there's going to be a crash in the very first corner. So for him to be starting last looks bad, but it means that it's going to keep him out of trouble, and that's the most important thing for him, because it will allow him a chance to warm into the race. So it is really bad, but if you look in another way, he may end up getting away with actually climbing places kind of by default. So if you can stay out of danger in the first lap in particular, he'll probably be okay. So don't worry too much for him. But obviously him and Williams, they were all pretty darn disappointed, as you can understand. Toro Rosso, now they had a fantastic qualifying. They finished 8th and 9th, Carlos Sainz and then Kvyat respectively. That was a fantastic performance for Toro Rosso. They're definitely very pleased with that one. As we could see from winter testing, that they were fast. Those cars were quick. It was just reliability that was the issue. But they got into Q3 and they finished 8th and 9th. That's such a positive performance for them. Realistically, if it wasn't for Daniel Ricciardo, they would be 9th and 10th. But even that is amazing. Into Q3 with Toro Rossos. Those cars are very good in the corners, as we know. And it's also worth mentioning that they have the Ferrari engine, the current Ferrari engine. And it seems that that Ferrari engine really is pulling its weight. Obviously, if Sebastian Vettel or Ferrari in general are fighting with Mercedes, that engine must be good, and it translates in that Toro Rosso, so that's really positive for them. Sergio Perez came in 11th, Hülkenberg in 12th, Alonso 13th, Ocon in 14th, and Ericsson in 15th. And I don't know how I feel about Forcing. Forcing will probably feel a little bit disappointed that they came 11th and 14th, but to be honest, that midfield battle is so hectic and packed. That's probably the best they could really do out of it. They will be disappointed, but honestly, that's probably all they can get. They've not had the greatest testing, and they've not had the best start to the season. This race weekend. But I feel like that's kind of to be expected, because that midfield battle is going to be so tight. You're going to be having this. They're going to be expecting these kind of things. Hülkenberg will probably be pretty darn pleased with that 12th, especially considering his teammate Julian Palmer is going to be starting second to last. So Hülkenberg's going to be happy with that one. That does show a solid performance from that Renault. It's not exactly a slow car. It's clearly fighting in that midfield battle, or it's hopefully going to be. We'll see tomorrow. So he'll be pleased with that performance. And actually, he was quite happy with the car. And I was going to talk about Palmer there, but I'll save that till later. Alonso finished 13th, but as he spoke on the radio, he said he really had to fight to get that 13th. But nonetheless, that is a solid 13th place for them. And actually, they've had a relatively trouble-free weekend so far. Friday practice, they had no major issues. Again, in qualifying, they had no major issues. So that's a positive. That's a massive positive that they got reliability so far. Although it's kind of depressing that you got to think that a couple of years ago, if we were saying it's positive that McLaren have qualified 13th, that's just crazy. Like they should be fighting for the top spaces, and they're fighting for 13th. Like that's depressing. But hey, at the end of the day, it's baby steps. So you got to be happy for them. But it's been 3 years of this. They got to be improving. Ericsson came 15th. Giovinazzi came 16th. Both of them for the Saubers. I bet Sauber are probably buzzing for those. They are probably over the moon for that, because obviously we saw from testing they're not exactly quick. So the fact that they've got 15 and 16 is probably as good as it's going to get for them. They're probably really happy with that, to be honest. They're not exactly going to be fighting for top spots, but they did say that they're hoping to see maybe if they can get into the top 10. And you know what, it is entirely possible. If luck is on their side, they could maybe push one of their cars into the top 10. I wouldn't count on it, I wouldn't bet my money on it, but it is possible. So from that space, it's not too bad for them. Giovinazzi is going to actually be buzzing, you know. He's going to be really happy because obviously Pascal Wehrlein's not going to be racing this weekend because of his crash at the Race of Champions. He's still a little bit injured and he's just not fit to race. So Giovinazzi is going to, cover for him because he's the reserve driver from Formula 2, GP2 rather. But he'll be kind of disappointed because I was watching his qualifying lap and he was actually going to be, I think, quicker than Ericsson, but on the second to last corner, he just outbraked himself and went into the dirt, and he just messed up his entire lap. And it was literally right at the end. And if he didn't mess that up, he would have came ahead of Ericsson, maybe even would have pushed to get ahead of Ocon. So it's a real shame, but you know, it shows positives that actually he really hit the ground running for Sauber, so that's really positive for him. Magnussen and Van Dorn just didn't have very good qualifying, to be honest, so they'll be very disappointed with that. Lance Stroll did qualify 19th, but as I said, he's going to go into 20th because of his penalty. But Jolyon Palmer, boy is he mad. So this here is his crash that he had in FP2, and literally just like Ricciardo, he just loses the back end and just ditches it in the wall. It shows how unforgiving these cars are. He had no control. The moment it stepped out, I assume he just put his foot down a little bit too early. See, the car's fine here, it's no problem here, and he puts his foot down there and he just completely loses it. Absolutely it's just no chance. You know, maybe it could have been the temperature of the tyres or something, but he had no chance. And it's a real shame because he even said afterwards that actually the car's setup was alright, the car was feeling good, he was really enjoying the car, and he just lost it, he just ditched it into the wall, and it was a real shame for him. But then the qualifying lap, when he came out, you know, qualified last, he's going to be promoted to second to last. But I've got to read out this quote, this is golden. Okay, I found it. This is him after qualifying, and I'm quoting it. He said, "The car was awful. Today was a disaster. The brakes are terrible, the balance is pretty horrible, and the traction is terrible. Other than that, however, it was almost reasonable." Wow, is he pissed. He is so mad. That car completely let him down. It was not the same animal that it was from practice. It was just so bad. The balance was bad, the brakes was bad, the turning was bad, the traction was bad. He absolutely hated it. It inspired no confidence, and Renault are going to have to put so much effort into that car to set it up for him. It's so weird because Hulkenberg set it up and he came 12th, which is not bad at all. But Palmer just was not his race. Qualifying, not race, qualifying. But yeah, that's pretty much my talk about qualifying and a little bit of practice. I guess the gloves are off now. We really know what we're expecting from the teams, but at the same time we're not, because the kind of track that Melbourne is very different to all the other tracks. There's a lot of tight corners, and you know, they're not the fastest corners, some of them. They're very sharp, you know, there's no, you know, fast sweeping corners, and there's no extremely long straights. So, but it, you know, it really shows the quality of some of these cars, and they, you know, obviously it unravels and reveals more than it did from testing. You know, we did expect a lot from Ferrari, and you know what, if Vettel got that car, you know, if he got that lap as good as he could have, maybe he would have been first. But nonetheless, Hamilton really loved the car and really got the most out of it and got that first place. So yeah, it's predictable and unpredictable. It was a crazy qualifying and practice. I hope you enjoyed those videos. Obviously I didn't get them. Obviously I took them from Sky Sports, so you know. But yeah, I hope you enjoy this video. The race is tomorrow. I'm going to be up extremely early in the morning because it's in Australia. I hate those time zones. I'll be up. I'm going to watch the race, analyse it. I'm going to get that out tomorrow. So I really hope you enjoy this video, and I'm sure that you will enjoy that video tomorrow. It's going to be amazing. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Please thumbs up this video, comment below for any suggestions and improvements you like. Share this video if you'd really love to be an absolute G. Subscribe whilst you're at it, and yeah, have a lovely day. See you later, guys.